Thank you very much. My name's Simon Bird. I'm a director of Pacific American Coal. Thank you for coming along to hear our story. Some of you who are familiar with us will be aware that this is very fortunate timing in that we only last week put out an ASX release updating our JORC statement. So we're thrilled to be at this conference and the opportunity to speak at this time on our specific project. I offer the usual disclaimer because part of this talk will have some forward-looking statements. PAK, Pacific American Coal's ticker, is a simple and clear story. We're focused on the Elko Coking Coal Project right here in British Columbia. We have a significant resource, over 300 million tonnes, a substantial component of it in the measured and indicated category. For those not familiar with JORC code as it applies to coal, this is important as these categories immediately precede the prized reserve category. The update on our recent drilling results completed last summer and only announced last week, I'll go into a little later. We're listed on the Australian Securities Exchange, and as I said, we're focused on coking coal, not thermal coal, and are therefore aligned with the demand for steel, including steel required for renewable energy projects. Just a quick snapshot of our company. As I mentioned before, we're ASX listed, and our current market capitalisation, some 7 million, we believe significantly undervalues the Elko Coking Coal Project. Introducing the project itself, we're here in the southern part of the East Kootenay, where we have 3 contiguous leases and a strategic land holding over some 3,500 hectares, with a significant resource, as I mentioned, of over 300 million tonnes. And importantly, we have valid approvals to drill on our primary leases through till 2022. For the geologists in the room, we're focused on the coal-bearing measures within the Kootenay group, specifically Mist Mountain and the Elk formations, which, as you can see from the green belt, the middle green belt, runs through all 3 of our leases. To give you a brief history, historically, exploration at Elko can only be described as sporadic. There were, however, 2 drill holes and 7 adits on the property when we commenced our work in 2015. And that provided the platform for us to release an initial JORC statement with a reserve of some 257 million tonnes back in 2015. But as I just mentioned, having completed our drilling program this last summer, we've now released a new JORC statement, only last week. Just to talk a little bit about that drilling program in the summer just gone, key highlights are the 9 holes drilled over some 3,500 metres, all intercepted multiple coal seams. Previous drilling had identified 6 coal seams in the Misty Mountain Formation, What we're very excited about, though, is this last drilling program intercepted or identified another 3 seams in the shallower Elk Formation. And in addition to that, these high-value seams extend through into the central region. There's a lot of information on this slide, but these are the details of the drilling program itself. Key elements here, as I mentioned earlier, all the holes intercepted multiple coal seams, which is of significance for us, and identifying 3 new coal seams. Something to point out here too is, while the depth cover from surface is an important consideration with respect to open cut mining, we can access the coal directly from the side of the escarpment. So we will be undertaking an underground operation which covers that issue. As I mentioned earlier, with the Elk Formation that we drilled through this last program, we were excited about the discovery of 3 new coal seams in the lower Elk Formation. So we now have high-grade coal from both the Misty Mountain and the Elk formations. And those 3 additional seams, not only are they high quality, but they've added close to 36 million tonnes to our in situ JORC resource. Don't propose to go through this table, but this is the detail of our JORC statement, which was released last week. It's a 600-page report for anyone who's interested in going through the detail. But the key element is it increased as a result of the drilling that we've recently completed. Overall, but more importantly, nearly 200 million tonnes of which came out of the Western Lease, which is where our drilling has and will continue to be focused. Just to give you a bit of an overview of what that all means, the overall resource, which is the bars on the far left, you can see they've increased some 18% as a result of this drilling program. A large chunk in the measured and indicated. But what we're particularly excited about is the fact that the bars on the right-hand side of that chart show that the measured component has increased 5-fold. Particularly as that is the area we'll focus on as we move forward to develop a reserve as part of our mine plan. Again, for any geologists in the room, we're excited that we're now developing cross-sections and strong correlations across these drill holes. And whilst there is some faulting, the geology through here is classified as moderate. And I appreciate it's not as clear as it might be, but the chart down on the bottom right-hand corner shows strong correlations of the coal seams across all the holes that we've drilled. The other very positive aspect of this recent drilling program is the fact that in the Elko project, we were able to confirm what we thought before, which was the high quality of this coking coal. 7 of the 9 seams which were our initial focus indicated mid-vol and low ash coking coal. And those are demonstrated, bless you. Those are demonstrated by the benchmark chart down the bottom, where we compare ourselves against the best of the international coking coals, including Peak Downs in Queensland, Australia. And as you can see, we measure up very well against those in terms of quality. Particularly important as we're planning to go into the marketplace and compete with these high-grade coal projects. Just a quick note on the logistics advantage we believe we have in this particular part of British Columbia. We're only 20 kilometres from the railway line that gives us direct access to Vancouver. And as shown down on the bottom right-hand side of this slide, once in Vancouver, shipping from Vancouver is not too dissimilar to shipping from Hay Point, which is where the Peak Downs coal from Queensland, Australia is shipped. So 1 or 2 extra days on the ship is not a disadvantage for us in getting to the target markets, which are essentially Japan, Korea, China and potentially India. Quick review of where we've been and where we're going. We've obviously completed the drilling program, and in doing so we've established access to where we want to drill in the Western Lease, and we have approvals for that next phase. We're currently finalising the design of the drilling program and are actively out looking for potential partners to help us fund that program. As you'd expect, we take our social and environmental responsibility very seriously and have been doing everything to comply and be best in class with that respect. We're working very closely with the local First Nations, including employing one of their local First Nation companies, Noopku, who helped with some of the truthing and the last drilling program. I won't talk much about the coal market other than to say that we remain positive as we see continued infrastructure spend and therefore demand on steel going forward. I also note that our economics are still strong based on today's coal price, which is circa $200 a tonne. Last slide. So in conclusion then, we have a high-grade coking coal project here in British Columbia with a potential world-class resource, and we're very excited about the results of the drilling program that we've just completed. We have the permits and access in place for the next program, and we're here to meet partners and potential investors to undertake the next drilling program this coming summer. Thank you very much for your time and interest.